Welcome everybody to Football Is, and that is what I want's Tales of a Groundhopper. Okay then guys, I'm very happy to welcome Peter, all the way from Holland. FeanFan4Life, how you doing, Peter?
Yeah, Dan, thank you. I'm really fine. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm very excited to have you on this episode of Tales of a Groundhopper because I've spoke to a lot of English people about this, and it's going to be so interesting to get your take on football and hear how this is affecting football in Holland. So I'm very excited, and very thankful for you to come on.
No problem. I'm just a little bit nervous. It's my first podcast episode ever, so it's maybe a little difficult, and also the English language. Some words I may think about a lot.
Don't worry, I struggle to understand a lot of English people, so don't worry about it, mate. You'll be absolutely fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
So, talk me through what's happening with football in Holland at the moment. Is this affecting it as it is in England?
Well, it's affecting that our Prime Minister yesterday told us that the Eredivisie, so the best clubs in Holland, shouldn't play until the 1st of September.
Okay.
And our FA, the KNVB, is expecting to come with a plan tomorrow.
Okay.
So just guessing, I don't know what's going to happen.
It's such a weird time, isn't it, to be a football fan? Really is.
It really is. I miss the football game a lot. The traveling, the stadiums, the friends to see at the stadium, drinking a beer, having a burger or something. Everything about football I'm missing.
So in Holland, who's your team in Holland? Who do you follow?
My team is Heerenveen.
Okay, yeah.
We played in the Intertoto Cup against Newcastle.
Yep, I remember that.
Yep. And last summer we had a, how do you say it in English? Friendly game at Sunderland.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, very, yeah. Sunderland have fallen from the Premier League a couple of divisions down now, so they're in a bit of a struggle at the moment. But yeah, big stadium, isn't it?
Big stadium. I wasn't there, unfortunately, because I was groundhopping in the north of Scotland at the moment.
Oh, real? Whereabouts?
So I was at the game. We at the night of the game at Sunderland, I was at Elgin City against Hibernian.
Wow. Do you know what? Hibernian is actually a team that I follow in Scotland. I watch out for their results a lot because when I was younger, they used to have the Scottish Cup football on TV. Mm-hmm. So I could watch it, and I just followed them all the way to the final, and sadly they lost. But yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? All these teams that you find and see.
I will show you one. 3-5 against Hearts.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Hearts is my team in Scotland.
Oh, is it?
So Hearts was the first team I watched in Scotland. A little bit of a soft spot.
They're safe, aren't they now, Hearts, because of the divisions stopping, hopefully?
Yeah, hopefully. I hope that they will be safe. Yeah,
that's good. So we touched on it there. You obviously like travelling with your football. So how long have you been groundhopping for?
Well, my first match was in 1998, Chelsea against Barnsley. We travelled by bus with a group of friends, but the virus didn't get me. Then I was back in Scotland in April 2016. A friend of me, now a friend, at that time I haven't met him, I didn't know him, but a Dutch guy moved from Tilburg in the south of Holland to Edinburgh to write a book about Hearts. I read a book, and after the book had released a few months later, he decided to get a ground-up trip to Edinburgh and Scotland. So I went to the trip. I got it from my wife. And my wife is still not happy with the present she gave me because I traveled a lot that year. It was my first weekend in Scotland. Saw Hearts against Aberdeen. Saw a match at Cowdenbeath, brilliant club, and saw the Petrofac Cup final against Rangers against Peterhead at Hampden.
Oh, really?
In one weekend, and after that, the virus has got me and. I've seen more grounds in Scotland than I've seen in Holland at the moment.
Oh wow! Do you know what, I work with a Scottish man, and he'd be very happy to hear that, and I'm sure he'd be very happy to talk to you about that as well.
I heard it in in the first podcast with Ellen,
David.
with David. Ayr United, Somerset Park, beautiful, really beautiful.
Oh really? That's so good to hear. So good to hear that you've been there. That he'll be very happy with that. Very happy.
I've been there twice, both games against Dundee.
Oh really? Okay, that's good. That's good. With all the grounds that you've been to, what would you have down as your favourite ground? Is it hard to choose?
Well, there are a few. In Scotland, Ayr, of course, Somerset Park, beautiful stadium. Greenock Morton, really beautiful with a big crane on the background. But the most beautiful in was Boxing Day 2017, Glentoran in Belfast against Linfield. Last second winner for Glentoran, so really beautiful game. But that's my stadium I dream about.
That's the thing about Ireland, really especially Northern Ireland. It's this so picturesque. There's so many beautiful stadiums around there, isn't there? There's so much. The scenery that you have in these stadiums is beautiful, and I think for me, you've got a lot of stadiums that are in built-up areas, and you don't really appreciate them as much. But then you go to there's one in Portugal that Braga play at, and it's like a cliff around it, and it's incredible.
Yeah, that one is also, Braga is also incredible. But there are so many beautiful stadiums. My friend from Holland, he lives now in Scotland. He has been to Berwick upon Tweed, and there's a ground next to the defense walls. It's really, I've got to be there someday.
In Ireland, they really have that magical feel about them. It's such a beautiful place, Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah, Ireland is really beautiful. We went to for a weekend over there. Started on a Friday night at UCD, University College Dublin. Well, that ground isn't that much, but we were 3 members of the supporters club. So, of course, they're in my heart now, because Dutch people always want to get something for free. We traveled with an Irish car to Northern Ireland to see a game in Belfast, friendly game. Linfield against Motherwell, also a soft spot from the Scottish teams I prefer. And after the friendly match, we drove to Longford to see the game at Saturday evening, also in Ireland. So Ireland is really beautiful. We made a trip with 600 miles, I guess, 700 maybe.
Wow.
Really, really beautiful country.
And that's the thing about groundhopping, isn't it? Is you get to see all these stadiums across the world, essentially, and it hooks you in, doesn't it? You get that, and like you say, the virus, you get that virus. You want to go and experience more.
Yeah, that's it. And not only in Scotland, UK, England, Ireland, Wales, something like that. But I've traveled to Belgium and Germany also.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, when the virus has gotten you, you can't stop it anymore.
With regards to the games you've seen, I'll be surprised if this isn't a Scottish player actually now. Who's your favourite player you've ever seen?
Well, my favourite player should be a Dutch player who played for us and also for your favourite team. Let me say Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Oh my good God! What a goal scorer! Probably one of the greatest finishers of the ball in the box I've ever seen.
Yeah, one of the best strikers we had, of course. We also had Afonso Alves at my favorite team in Holland. Afonso Alves was sold to Middlesbrough, and he scored 7 goals in one match. Yeah.
The Brazilian.
The Brazilian, yes. So Ruud van Nistelrooy is one of them. Of course.
With regards to Ruud van Nistelrooy,
yeah.
Did he was he a youth player at Heerenveen?
No, not really. He came to us when he was, let me guess, 19 or something.
Okay.
He came from Den Bosch, a first division club, but when he came to us, he wasn't a striker.
He was a centre back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And our coach Foppa de Haan, also he was the coach for the longest time in Holland with the club for a long time. He said you should be a striker. So they had lots of trainings, and well, the rest is history, I guess.
The rest is what a player. I've seen him play so many times, and it's just his awareness in the box. I mean, I think for all the goals he scored for Man United, there wasn't many outside of the area, was there, that he scored? He was so lethal in the box.
Unbelievable. Just that nose for the goal. It's unbelievable.
You can't teach it, can you?
No, it must be in you. That can't be taught. I don't believe that can be taught. No. And in Scotland, my favorite, the favorite player I've seen, the one I've seen is Shankland at Ayr.
I'm gonna have to tell David that.
But Shankland, I've seen him in Ayr. He was injured at the time, so he came in the second half for the last 20 minutes. But he is now playing really well at Dundee, and he was called up for the Scottish team. So the groundsman of Ayr, we had a tour at Somerset Park, and the groundsman of Ayr, he said, "Well, you should have watched Shankland. That's our best player." But when he came on the pitch, something happened.
You need that in some players, don't you? Some players have that ability to just change games no matter what they do.
Yeah, that's the best. I think when you are 1-0 down or something with 20 minutes to go, you need to bring a player on who has something extra of it.
Sadly, I'm not one of them players when I play football. I tend to slow the game down.
Well, me also. I think I played on the 10th tier of Holland or something, so it's really, really low.
So I mean, this is going to be an interesting question. What's the longest distance you've travelled for a game then?
Well, the longest distance from home was Fraserburgh in the north of Scotland.
Wow.
A few miles above Aberdeen, and it was around 900 miles, but
wow.
I think my day trip from the north of Holland to Swindon Town against Notts County last year, I think that was the longest trip I've made for one match.
That's brilliant. How did you get your wife to let you do so many games?
Well, as I said, she gave me the first trip to Hearts and Cowdenbeath. She shouldn't have done that. But she's really fine with it. She said, "Well, you have your hobby, I have mine. So when you want to go for a weekend, all right, then go."
I need to find my wife a hobby.
Maybe knitting or something.
I'll try. I'm up to trying anything for her. So who's the best fans that you've witnessed then? Who would you say the best fans are that you've seen?
Well, the best fans, I guess, it was at a game of Motherwell against Glasgow Rangers. Motherwell equalized 3-3 in the dying seconds of the game, and the fans, they were absolutely fantastic, really fantastic. They exploded all the way, unbelievable. After that match, we said we have to go to Rangers Motherwell.
Of course.
In the away end. So we went to Rangers Motherwell in the away end. Well, that's not a really nice place to be. The away end of Rangers. I'm sorry, Rangers fans, but no, that's not the best place to be. And of course, we got beaten down 7-1.
Always the worst, then, isn't it? Especially you don't mind losing, but if you're losing that many.
Well, losing that many, that's not nice. That's not really fine to be in. Of course,
it's funny though. I mean, I always think fans make a game. They can make or break a game of football, can't they? If you've got a really good group of fans behind you, I think that's half the battle, isn't it?
That's half the battle. You should be the 12th man of your team. And at our club, Heerenveen, well, I'm in the standing section. We still have a standing section at our stadium with 1,800 supporters. And I think we are great. Some people might say we don't, but I think we are great. We don't whistle to the players or shout out or something. Just stand behind the team. no matter what.
Yeah, I feel with the youth players that come through Holland, and you've had some exciting players come through Holland. I mean, you've got a really good batch coming through now for the national team, haven't you? With De Ligt, with De Jong, they're super players, super players. Is this because I find this? It's almost as if Holland fans are more. They give the players more time to develop. They don't get on their backs straight away when they break in.
No, at the smaller clubs we give them time, but with the bigger clubs
Yeah,
like Ajax, you speak about De Ligt and De Jong, of course, they are brilliant players. We sold our centre back last season to Ajax, but he is drowning at Ajax at the moment.
really.
For us, he was a good player, but for Ajax, he is not good enough, I think. And you can see it with more players. We sold Daley Sinkgraven to Ajax, and Daley Sinkgraven is now playing in Germany. He should have been in the first team of Ajax, but after they play half a year in the young team of Ajax, the under 23 is that?
Yeah,
I guess. Then they won't break through at a smaller club like Heerenveen or AZ or eventually, I mustn't say it, Groningen. Our players from the youth are having much more time to
develop.
to develop into the first team. Yeah.
Yeah. There is, because football now is more of a business, isn't it? It's such a business now. It's more about the money that these younger players. You're right. They don't have the time to develop at the clubs sometimes as long as they should, because they do go for a lot of money, and they can make the team a lot of money, can't they? And it's sometimes very valuable.
Of course, it's very valuable, and I can understand those players. But should I have made the same choice? I don't know. Maybe because money is really helpful in your life. You can get a lot of help to your club where you've played for the youth games. So I can understand those players. When my boss or a same company as I work for, and he's saying to me, "Well, come work for me, and I will give you $3 million. I'm away tomorrow."
Yeah. I have this argument with a lot of people who say footballers are on too much money, and I say, of course they are, but you can't blame a footballer who. I will never ever hear of a footballer that would ever say, "You're going to pay me £100,000 a week." No, that's too much. That's too much. If they're offered it, they're going to take it, of course, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. But would you do the same?
Of course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no problem. I would do the same also. Of course, when they say to you, "Well, you can get £100,000 a week, or you can get 10 million a year," of course, I'm going right away. No problem.
Yeah. Do you know something though? But I love about Holland, about Dutch football, is the philosophy of some of the clubs. The way they play the football is sometimes just beautiful to watch, isn't it?
It's sometimes beautiful to watch, but for the smaller clubs, the big clubs are dominating too much. I think we are a small club, and we won't be, or we will never be a champion, I guess. But that's a fine thing about our club. When we win something, we won the Dutch FA Cup, the KNVB beker. We won it 10 years ago, 11 almost. And it's still a head prize. When a team like Ajax wins the Dutch FA Cup, the fans say, "Well, all right, we won it, no problem, onto the championship." If I have to support like that, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Do you know something? I agree with that. My favourite cup competition in the world, not in the world, not just England, is the English FA Cup. Yep. I love the history of it. I love the beauty of it. I love the stories you get from it. And my team, Manchester United, the amount of times that we've gone out because we've picked lesser teams, thinking we can rest our other players, and to go out, it upsets me because the FA Cup is the cup to win. It's always been mine as a child, so I get what you're saying there.
It really is. The FA Cup is the most beautiful in the world, of course, And the smaller teams, they get something extra when they play at Manchester United, or they can play against, let's say, Fulham or something. That, that bit is so nice.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wish Holland had it more in it, because we are only at the top 3 divisions who are in the
yeah,
Dutch FA Cup, and I think that's
yeah.
not enough. Let them in. Why not? Why not a club from a 5th division or something?
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you go to many games in the lower divisions in Holland?
Not too much, because I want to save my money for traveling to England or Germany, Belgium, France, everywhere. So the lower teams, no. That's what I said in the beginning.
Yeah,
I've seen more grounds in Scotland than I did in
I
Holland.
can't begrudge you that if you're going to all these different countries to watch it. That's not a bad excuse for not going to see them. Obviously, you've been on your travels a lot, and I'm interested to hear what the worst thing you've witnessed in football would be for yourself.
Well, not at the football, because we've seen a lot of great matches, but we also seen a lot of matches that shouldn't have been played at that time. So, but is that a bad memory? No, it's not a bad memory. We laugh about everything. I went to a weekend Kilmarnock Hearts on Friday night. Guess the score, 0-0. Saturday, there was a match between AFC Hendon, no, from AFC Hendon on Ketkin Park in Glasgow. I don't know if you know that place, but Ketkin Park is really, really beautiful. There was a match. So we traveled by train
Yeah,
to see half the match, the first half, on Ketkin Park, 0-0. After that, we went to Irvine Meadow. It's in the neighborhood of here. Uh, saw the game there against Geisley, I guess. Uh, the only game in the junior league that day that ended 0-0. After that, we went to Air Dundee. Last game of the weekend, also 0-0. So we watched 3.5 match and saw no goals. But that weekend, it's awful.
that
But
is
that weekend is
awful.
unforgettable. We still talking about it, and it was,
Yeah.
I think, April 2017. So 3 years later, we were still talking about it. Unbelievable.
I mean, imagine the odds you would have got if you'd have put a bet on all those games being 0-0.
Yeah, imagine the odds. Yeah, but I don't gamble.
You'd have
So,
been you'd have been interviewing me, I think, by then.
maybe, yeah, that should be something.
That's brilliant. Do you know what? You'll probably agree with me now. With the way that football is, with no football, I think I'd happily take 10 0-0s at the moment.
Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. I will travel anywhere.
What's your fondest? What's your best memory in football?
The best memory, well, it should have been our cup final, I guess. The cup final of my favorite team, Heerenveen, in 2009. We won from FC Twente, 1-0 in front, 1-1, 2-1 in front, 2-2. In the extra time, and we won on penalty shootout.
Oh
So
wow!
my wife was with me at the moment. It was her third football game ever. She said, I thought you were dying in the stadium. Well, I'm not living anymore. I'm just happy now, and unbelievable. That really, really great atmosphere at the stadium, and that was the best match I've not, maybe not the best match, but for me personally, it was the best day of my life. Without my marriage,
That was a very
with
good
the,
save there, Peter. Very good save. I wanted to, and I'm probably going to put you on the spot here with this. Dutch football. So that you talk about the final there. I remember the FA Cup when I was growing up in England. It was an all-day affair. You know, you turned the TV on at lunchtime and you watched the build-up, and it was an all-day thing for me. Is it the same in Holland?
Well, no, I don't think so. Yeah, as a fan of the two teams who are playing, yes, it's an all-day affair. But I think in Holland the game is played at 5 o'clock or something, and the TV is broadcasting from 3 o'clock.
Okay. And another thing I wanted to touch on, Holland went through a bit of a patch. You know, you got to that World Cup final, did fantastic in that World Cup, and then you had that 4 years of sort of it wasn't very good. You're at the back end of it now. You've got some great footballers coming through. How were the fans with the national side when this was all happening? When the likes of Van Persie, Robben were coming to the end of their careers, and the newer batch were coming through. Was the time? Were you under the impression as fans, give them time? It's going to come good, or was it quite an angry time?
No, not an angry time. Maybe a little bit difficult, but I don't follow the Dutch team that much that I can answer your question. The Dutch team is nice to see. It's really great football, but the fans are not football fans. They are clowns. You don't go to a stadium with a head full of carrots because it's orange. So, but no. It was not the best time for our Dutch team, but it wasn't angry. No, not really. No.
No, that's good to hear. I mean, I think, I'm an England fan. We don't. I mean, we got to the semi-final of the last World Cup, and that was up there with one of the best experiences of my life because, you watch fans, and I've spoke about this before. You have the good type of fans who come together and enjoy a game, and then you have the bad type of fans who are there to just disrupt it at any moment. And watching the World Cup for us in 2018, it was good to see that England fans actually behaved and come together. I suppose on your travel, you've probably witnessed some awful fans and some good fans, but ultimately it's the good fans that you remember, isn't it?
Yeah, always the good fans. We were at a match of Albion Rovers. Also, after a early Motherwell Rangers game, it was 12 o'clock or 12:15 that was played, and at 3 o'clock Albion Rovers played. So we drove away at the stadium at Fur Park from Motherwell to Albion Rovers. We came at Albion Rovers, watched the game there, and of course, after the match, we went across the street to go to the pub because we were dried out at the moment. And the Albion Rovers fans said, "You're not from here. What are you doing here?" "Well, we're from Holland and we came to watch your team." "You're crazy. Why? Why don't you go to Celtic or to Rangers or something?" "Well, I've been to both stadiums and the Rangers stadium is really great. I love it. The outside Archibald Leach stadium, really, really beautiful. But the interaction you get with the fans from the smaller clubs like there at Albion Rovers, I still have contacts there, and it's about 3 years ago that I was there. So that memories keeps you going on the trips to England or to Germany or to wherever."
That's brilliant. What are your plans for the future? Is it just to take as much football in as you can, or is it time to slow down?
So hopefully not slow down, but I did get a job 2 years ago, which is a little bit busier than my job here before. So I don't have the time. But when I can go away for a weekend, we always we will always pick 3 or 4 matches. So I will be doing that about 3 or 4 times a year, I guess.
That's brilliant.
Oh no, that's a little bit of the goal. So really want to go out 3 or 4 weekends a year with 3 or 4 matches in the weekend, and that should be fine. And then of course following my own club, I want to go a little more with the away section, so maybe some more away games to take on, but not slow down, really not.
That's a question actually. How much is it to go watch Heerenveen?
You say the season in euros, the season ticket?
Yeah.
That's a difficult one. I guess I paid for my last season ticket, so for this season, €188.
That's just bizarre. I've got a team round the corner from me, AFC Telford, and I'm by no means am I bad mouthing them saying this, but I believe the season ticket's probably more expensive there, and they're in step 6, I believe, step 6 of English football. So that's incredible. That's incredible.
€200. It's never been more. So no, I've paid 188, something like that for a season ticket, and you get 17 games in the Eredivisie and 1 cup game for free.
That's brilliant. When you go, have you got friends that you meet there? Have you got friends who sit next to you, or is it just different people each game?
Well, Yeah, it's different for each game because we are standing almost at the same place every match, of course. But I pick up a colleague from my work before
Okay.
with two sons. He was with me 2 or 3 matches in one season, and I told him at the winter break, you better can buy a half season ticket because it's cheaper than just visiting 2 more match after the winter break. And he bought a half season ticket, and now they have all 3 of them. He and his 2 sons have 3 season tickets at our club. So he's traveling with me, but he's in a seated position. So he's going. We drink beer before the match. He's going to his place. I'm going to my standing section, and after the match, we drink beer or something, and then drive home. So yeah, that's what my friends are, and yeah, you see so many people. You see every 2 weeks in at the same spot in the stadium that you get to know them, and that's what makes a visit to the stadium really nice.
It's the characters, isn't it? You meet so many different characters.
It's the characters. So from 16 years old to 85 years old or something like that, and everything in between. It's that's what makes a visit to a football match that nice.
Yeah, long may it continue, Peter. Long may it continue, mate.
Yeah. Let's start the season again.
Definitely. I tell you what, when you come over again to Scotland or to have you ever been to Queen of the South in Scotland?
No, that's one I miss on my list.
Yeah, I'm good friends with someone who's coming on the show shortly, and he goes 2 or 3 times a season all the way up to Queen of the South. He absolutely loves them. So yeah, you should catch a game there. They're really good team.
Yeah, but Queen of the South they also have a really nice stadium. It's old, it's classic. It's that's a stadium I love. Really nice.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in the opportunity to get there. I wanted to go the weekend of 13 March, I guess, but then everything was locked down through the COVID-19.
Yeah.
So
well, we'll have to arrange a meetup. We'll have to go up and try and catch a game together because I keep promising to go up there with him.
Yeah, well, that should be nice. Yeah. I'm definitely
right.
on.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on, Peter, today. I really appreciate it. And you know what? It's fantastic to hear a Dutch fan who loves traveling to all of these games, and I love the fact, and I'm sure the people listening to this will love the fact, and also if they're married like me, be envious that you get to get 4 games in a weekend. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's brilliant, but you have to plan it. So
yeah.
Also a little bit of travel. We talked about the bad things of football in Scotland or in England or at my travels. Well, it's not at the football, but we went to Middlesbrough on a Friday evening and we had a meetup at Carlisle United at the Saturday because Carlisle United was playing and the trains were out, so we had to go by a taxi or a cab, and I guess it was with 4 people around 200 quid we had to pay to travel from Middlesbrough to Carlisle. But yeah, we had a meetup there, and we got to get a look around the stadium, sort of like a stadium tour. Yeah, we wouldn't miss it. So pay the cab and drive on, Peter, really fast. Go on. We have to meet up.
Next time you need to call a cab, call me. I'll be cheaper. I can do it half the price for you.
All right, we will do.
Brilliant. Right, well, thank you so much, Peter. As I said, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I really hope that we can have you on again sometime soon. I think there's some more stories in here from you. But yeah, thanks very much, mate, and you stay safe and take care amongst all of this this madness at the moment.
Thank you. You stay safe also, and to all the listeners also, stay safe and stay home.
So there we have it, guys. That's episode 4 of Tales of a Groundhopper. Really enjoyed that with Peter, fantastic bloke. Really enjoyed the conversations about all of his treks, mainly in Scotland. Brilliant stories though, as you'll all agree. Thank you so much for coming on, and we will definitely be having you back on very soon, Peter. For me, that's everything today, guys. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter page at FootballWant, and then it's Football Is and That Is What I Want for Facebook and for Instagram. and for YouTube. Other than that, guys, as always, take care and stay safe. And remember, football is, and that is what you got. Take care.